Hello one, it's me, I'm the Traveler Davis. This video is going to be a long one, so take your time, grab some popcorn and enjoy this video. Before I start, I have to say that almost everything we will see in this video contains theories and speculations from the community. By the way, I must thank all the people you can see on the screen for making possible the compilation of all the information for this video. Without further ado, let's move to the video in question. The gods just began with the world's construction. They started the shaping of concepts. Gods created a space. Space are mere shapes and textures, nothing more than disorder. But gods created a nature to give textures to the world. After that, the gods created time to order the life forms. Thanks to the support of time, life forms achieved evolution. Gods bestowed knowledge to them. Life forms were looking for power. Civilization was formed. Only civilization was not built by the gods. No order could be found among. Civilization corrupted nature. Time limited the civilization, dominating them diabolically. Both space and time confronted for ages. Space didn't agree with time's tyranny, and devastating conflicts started between them. To stop this havoc, the gods created arbiters with those concepts. They bestowed the chaos, the vessels. Chaos should be governed by a council, so they led the council's prevalence. Tsukumusana, the arbiter of space. Ceres Fauna, the arbiter of nature. Orochrone, the arbiter of time. Nanashi Mume, the arbiter of the knowledge, and the council member who represents civilization. Hakos Biles, the arbiter of chaos. And among all this council, there was a primordial entity, almost as old as chaos itself, the one who represents the beginning of all things, Omega. An exile from the walls, someone curse wonder with the curse of the Omega himself. His name, Omega. His role, unknown. This story really revolves around civilization, a planet known as the Hollow Earth. The Hollow world is full of fantasy and entities outside the human knowledge. In this universe, man lives side by side with nature. Civilization divided this world into multiple regions. These regions are Westa, an area of the world that looks more like to the modern era, with huge buildings and a European architecture and a European-like place, where we can see Western fantasy in its sheer splendor. In Westa, there's a hook-nailed sword that is the greatest symbol of this region. Westa is surrounded by walls that divide the modern part of Westa from the old part of Westa. It's speculated that a calamity or Armageddon occurred in Westa, and many parts are in ruins and full of moss. We can see that Roboco lives in one of those abandoned buildings. Many speculated that there have been time jumps in whole life universe because Sora is seen in the trailer traveling to time without moving from this place in Westa. Westa has floating head towers all around the world, not only in Westa, but also in Yamato and the underworld, whose purpose are known. In their heavenly lands live angels, as seen in the trailers. Access to these places is limited and you can be expelled from these places. An angel who has been expelled is Amane Kanata. We can see this fact in the same trailer. Outside the walls of Westa lies Pecoland, the land of rabbits. In Westa live elves, dragons, humans, wizards, knights, and normal humans. Robots, magical powers, superhuman abilities, and out-of-human strength are the usual day-a-day. It is speculated that in the outer zone of Westa there is a kingdom where a queen or a king rules, in exchange of which are a legion of knights, including the famous knight Shiro Gun and oil on them. Those who work demand the peace of Westa. Yamato A fantasy land full of traditional Eastern spirits with architecture that resembles traditional Japanese architecture. In this region, there's some modern technology as we have seen in arts and books. Described in the books, it's a beautiful place. Ask anyone who has laid eyes on Yamato, and that will be the first remark. Located on the far east, it's a place where humans Kami and Ayakashi live together in a large island nation. It has a huge city in the center, Nosunkyo no Miyako. Cherry blossoms in the springs, lush greenery in the summer, crimson leaves in the fall, and white snow in the winter. Nature here is beautiful as it resplendent. Villages and cities are carefully sculpted in harmony with nature, as if it complement the elegant scenery. A huge cherry tree decorates Yamato, along with huge and imposing buildings that resembles the Heian era. Certainly a beautiful landscape. The inhabitants of Yamato usually have their disposal oriental swords, which are known as katanas. Entities such as folk spirits often possess these weapons. It has also been seen in Onis. The katanas have elemental power. The katanas have elemental powers. Those who live in Yamato coexist with spirits and form bonds with them that give them superhuman powers. Port City, a coastal city where people live close to the sea, where pirates pass through their voyages. It has neo-Gothic architecture, lighthouses. From this city you can see parts of Westa. The main symbol of Port City is a hooked stone anchor that some of its inhabitants have as a symbol on their clothes. There's not so much information available about Port City other than it appears you can hire maids here where Minato Aqua is located. The Underworld, a subway land where it is said that powerful wizards coexist with demons and necromancers. This place is full of casinos, Gothic and quite imposing architecture. On the underworld lies the Makai School. Russia, Shion, Ayame are students in the Makai School, while Choco is a nurse. Russia is trained in necromancy. Shion is expert in black magic. Ayame is student in the council president that excels in swordsmanship and controlling spirits. I have been given to understand that death is someone of reference in this underworld, so it would not be strange that his followers or workers live in this place. Will More Calope be in the underworld? No one knows. Mithra. Who or what is Mithra? In our world, Mithra is the Zoroastrian angelic divinity known as Yathata, the covenant of light and oath. In addition to being the divinity of contracts, Mithra is also a judicial figure and all-seeing protector of truth, and the guardian of cattle, the harvest, and the waters. Mithra is also a divinity in the Indic culture, whose function changed with time. In the Mitan inscription, Mithra is invoked as one of the protectors of treaties. In the Rig Veda, Mithra appears primarily in the Bandva compound Mitra Varuna, which has essentially the same attributes as Varuna alone. As the principal guardian of truth, order, Mithra was also seen on the Roman mythology as an Indo-Iranian mythology. It seems to be one of the most mythological, most used figures in history. In HoloLive Alternative, Mithra shows on the mobile phone and says, "Have you ever wanted to visit a place that's a world apart?" Mithra is one of the original goods on HoloLive Universe, or it can be something else. All the background of Mithra is mystery. Locations. Every region on Holoherd has locations. Very few are known today and others are just speculation. But the Holoherd book has provided us with a lot of information about some places. Kiyo no Miyako, the greatest city in all of Yamato, a place of splendor that boosts us with a multitude of humans. Curiously, the cherry trees here bloom all year round, making the city a place of refined beauty where one can admire the cherry blossoms against the backdrop of all four seasons. At the end of the main road that runs through the center of Miyako sits a vast and imposing grand shrine dedicated to an Okami. At the innermost part of the shrine stands a sacred tree that reaches high on the sky. From afar, it looked like a tower. Indeed, according to some legend, that's exactly what it is, a tower erected by the ancient kami. However, no human knows how long it has been standing there or why it is so big. Places where many humans reside, such as Miyako, tend to attract stigma, which possesses humans and drives them to commit evil deeds. Cleansing stigma is one of the most important duties of a kami. The resident kami of the Shirakami shrine finds herself constantly summoned to Miyako and tasked day and night with the cleansing of stigma. It's thanks to the efforts of her and her companions that the peace of the humans living in the city is maintained. Shirakami Shrine, a place that was watched over the lives of humans of Yamato since the ancient times. The Shirakami Shrine sits among the mountains not far from Miyako. Massive imposing gate greets all who visit the shrine, indicators of the faithful masses who once worshipped her. Along the path that strays past the gate is so long and arduous that even the locals balk at traveling it, and these days worshippers are rare. Currently, a certain kami has took up residence there and named herself acting prices. Shirakami Shrine Sanctuary. Endless sky. As far as the eye can see, even the spectacular vista from the sanctuary built high in a tree canopy becomes a routine after a while. The shrine's enormous sacred tree stands at the peak of Shirakami Mountain. High in branches, which stretch above the clouds, the Shirakami Shrine Sanctuary is built. Here, where no human will ever see food, she lives with the familiars that serve her and the wild beasts of the mountains. When she's not engaged in her duties, her favorite way to unwind is to amuse herself with curios that have drifted her from Utsushiya, or persuaded publication known as manga. On occasions, when a friend comes to visit her, they may even engage in games of the video. Oeyama Mountains, a mountain range loose with nature located northwest of Kiyo no Miyako. Once upon a time, it was a pilgrim destination for humans wishing to pay their respects. Attempt sits halfway up the mountains, but with the temple now abandoned, the entire mountain range is rife with beasts. Recently, however, have been rumors in the neighborhood villages that something has taken up residence in the abandoned temple. Mithra's kitchen. There's a dinner run by a certain kami located in the village at the foot of the mountain on which Shirakami Shrine located. The signature dish supposed to be the ultimate beef and egg over rice, but apparently there's a regular customer who orders bowl upon bowl of Fox Delight udon every time she pays a visit. Yamato Fantasia, also known as the event of hunting the Oni of the Oeyama Mountains. As of late, there have been rumors afoot in Kiyo no Miyako telling of mysterious appearances according to QB. Quite a few children have been spirited away. A bit of investigation reveals that an Oni who lives in an abandoned temple on Oeyama Mountains has been abducting children. We'll know the truth once we go to see ourselves. And so, as casually as an afternoon stroll, a black and white bear boldly strode on the grounds of the temple, which looked awfully new being abandoned. According to later accounts, the fierce battle with the only girl who came to intercept them lasted a day and a night. Well, in the end, it turned out half or it was Miss Thunder. Well, in the end, it turned out half of it was a misunderstanding. When an already powerful Ayakashi gathers an even vaster quantity of aura, it's finally reborn as a Kami. Kami well are the dwarf those of Ayakashi in sheer power, and bear great wisdom and knowledge gained over the long existences. Well, with some exception, that is. Moreover, Kami can forge contracts with humans, Ayakashi or other Kami, who then serve them as familiars. They also wield weapons and tools imbued with aura, previously known as relics, talismans, or sacred treasures. Some kami also act as lords, ruling or leading other transcendent beings. These are known as okami and are greatly respected and worshipped. Ayakashi, humans, beasts, or objects that gather enough aura eventually transcend this world and become Ayakashi. Ayakashi are said to be able to use special powers known as arts. These powers come in many forms. Some can manipulate fire, freeze water, or disguise themselves as humans. In addition, the stronger the Ayakashi is, the more powerful the arts they are able to use. Kakuryo and Utsushio. The kami, in their vast knowledge, are not only aware of two contrasting worlds in existence. They call the one they reside Kakuryo, and the other one Utsuyo. Indeed, there exists another world to the one they live in, despite none of them having ever laid eyes on it. There is Nari, a soul that dopes the fact. That is because a great many things leak into Kakuryo from Tutsuyo, ranging from tools, foods, and people, to one more ominous in nature. Observation has revealed that these things tend to appear in some places more than in others, and indeed, Yamato has allocated famous from being rich in Utsuyo culture. Humans, the folk of Yamato. They are not different from the humans of the other world, aside from the extremely rare cases of half-beast or half-Ayakashi humans. Aura. All beings that exist for long and all in this world gradually accumulate aura, a formless but undeniable real essence, so vague and mysterious as a concept it is, that even the kami who depend on aura for sustenance find it difficult to describe. According to one kami, aura come from a being history, reputation, and influence on the world, much like experience points in video games. According to another kami, a being gains aura broke its story on all the myths surrounding it, essentially the record of all of its accomplishments. According to yet another kami, a being's aura comes from not from within but from without due to something known taking notice of it. For kami and ayakashi, the strength and nature of their powers depend greatly on the aura they hold. Stigma. Nebul aura, scorn, spite, fear, and other negative emotions give rise to stigma, and those afflicted by it are completely due to evil. When a world becomes infested with stigma, the humans go mad, the heart is blighted, and evil kami and ayakashi rampage unchecked. Legends tell of such a savage age long ago in the ancient past. To prevent such calamity, kami devoted themselves tirelessly day and night to the cleansing of stigma. The world of Hollow Earth holds many unknown secrets and future events. We will know the world of Hololive Alternative, Hollow Earth, and everything that has to do with it in the Hololive metaverse is finally confirmed. Until then, we can only speculate. Thank you, Roddy, for watching this video. If you reached this point, let me know it. This video. Thank you, Roddy, for watching this video. If you reach this point, let me know it. It would help me a lot if you like and share and subscribe. It took me a lot of work doing this video with investigation and even looking translations and making conclusions from other speculations and watching again the last video, the promotional video of Hololive Alternative, where we can see all most of what I said. Well, this is all. Thank you all for watching this video. See you in another video. Bye bye.